Don't want to give that
So
sweet thing up.
You have to be really careful with his head, but other than that, he's pretty easy. Oh my goodness.
Is that Big Brother?
Josiah, you're going to learn. This
I
dude's
love being a big word.
You're kind of good at it.
What is that?
Who's better? Is Lila good at holding Josiah?
She's okay.
Do you love him? Are you all done?
No.
Okay, I love each other. This is like best Big Brother status right here.
Just open his mouth like this.
Do you think he's hungry? Or do you think he was yawning?
Do you want to hold the baby? Okay, wait till after Jackson's done.
Do you love the baby?
You put a pillow there.
This is such a difference than the first go around.
I had zero expectations this time. Like, I had a lot of expectations, all this stuff.
That's your turn.
Okay. She just headbutted him.
3 little kids.
I just say it.
Jackson, what's been your favorite part about being a big brother? Again. You're good at helping Josiah, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty much all of my immediate family has met Josiah now. My mom, my dad, and my siblings, but we know Josiah. There still hasn't been any recognition from Karen or my dad. Like, they still think they did nothing wrong, which is like, I don't see how Karen doesn't.
LPBW Jackson, Lila, and Josiah Roloff back on show. Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Little People Big World fans have been wanting updates on Jackson Roloff, Lilah Roloff, and Josiah Roloff since the family show was canceled after season 25. Based on the latest updates making the rounds, the kids are back in the spotlight. So what's the latest? Before Zach Roloff and Tori Roloff announced that they were leaving Little People Big World after season 25, most fans assumed that the show would continue, with Jackson Roloff, Lilah Roloff, and Josiah Roloff being the main focus. As much as Little People Big World fans got tired of Matt Roloff, Karen Chandler, Zach Roloff, and Tori Roloff, the one thing that many viewers would have still tuned in for was to watch Zach and Tori's children. However, as fans know, Zach and Tori quitting the show eventually led to it getting canceled. So any hopes of seeing their children grow up in future episodes were squashed. Since quitting Little People Big World, Zach Roloff and Tori Roloff have been focusing on their podcast, Raising Heights. They have used this platform to talk about their time on the TLC show, as well as other topics that are relevant to them, like living life as a family of little people. In a recent episode of the podcast, Josiah, Lila, and Jackson took over the podcast. The entire family of 5 was on hand to film a recent episode, and viewers got to see the whole family. While this was a fun episode for a lot of people to see, others called this out as desperate too. For some time now, Little People Big World fans have called out Raising Heights for running out of topics to talk about. The way that a lot of viewers see it, Zach and Tori are milking episodes for the sake of bringing in a paycheck, often dragging things out for the sake of content. In this recent instance, with the kids taking over a recent episode, many people called out the husband and wife for exploiting their kids for content, and viewers had plenty of things to say about it. Jeremy Roloff amused LPBW fans recently with a harmless but hilarious spelling error that sparked a wave of laughter, memes, and lighthearted commentary across social media. It started innocently enough. Jeremy was sharing an Instagram story, excitedly showing off the progress he and Audrey had made on one of their home renovation projects. In his story, Jeremy captioned the post with a short sentence meant to celebrate their progress. "We're making progress on the selling." But instead of writing ceiling, Jeremy misspelled it as selling, a simple mistake that didn't go unnoticed. Within minutes, LPBW fans picked up on the typo and began circulating the story across Reddit threads, Facebook fan groups, and Instagram reposts. Screenshots of Jeremy's original post quickly made the rounds, with fans chuckling at the mistake and creating memes, jokes, and teasing captions. The word selling was suddenly a trending phrase among LPBW followers. Some users joked about Jeremy's home being a prison cell, while others created mock dictionaries featuring the new word. Selling. Noun, the part of the home that traps you into spelling mistakes, one fan wrote sarcastically. Another commented, "Guess Jeremy's got a new architectural concept he's pioneering." Rather than sparking harsh criticism, the spelling mistake endeared Jeremy even more to many fans. LPBW viewers often follow the Roloff family closely, and any relatable human moment is quickly celebrated. Jeremy's misspelling gave fans a break from heavier topics and allowed them to enjoy something light and universally understood, a simple, funny typo. Many fans chimed in with their own similar experiences, noting how autocorrect or quick typing had often gotten the better of them. Others poked fun at how Jeremy and Audrey present themselves as polished entrepreneurs and lifestyle bloggers, making the typo all the more ironic and hilarious. Jeremy responded in good humor. After seeing the attention his story had gained, he shared a follow-up post correcting the spelling with a playful caption. Okay, ceiling it is. Got me there," he wrote, along with laughing emojis. His willingness to own the mistake and laugh at himself resonated with fans. It reinforced a quality viewers have come to appreciate: Jeremy's ability to take a joke and not take himself too seriously. In a world where many public figures might have quietly deleted the story or ignored the chatter, Jeremy embraced the moment with charm and humility. The typo quickly earned the nickname Sellinggate among fans, turning it into a sort of mini-scandal, but one based purely in good fun. Some fans even suggested t-shirts with the phrase "Selling Club" or "Team Selling," imagining a line of merchandise that could capitalize on the hilarious moment. One fan drew a mock blueprint labeled Jeremy's Selling Plan and included joke diagrams of ladders, lights, and typo correction tools. The joke spread beyond just LPBW viewers and caught the attention of casual followers who saw the viral content on explore pages and meme accounts. This was not the first time Jeremy had gone viral for something unintended. In the past, he had shared a sunrise photo and mistakenly captioned it as a sunset, drawing similar teasing responses. Fans love to catch these little moments of imperfection, not out of malice, but because they humanize the Roloffs, who sometimes present a carefully curated online life. For a family that's been on TV for nearly 2 decades, these slip-ups offer a rare glimpse of spontaneity. This selling incident also led to renewed interest in the Roloffs' home projects. Jeremy and Audrey have frequently shared their DIY renovations and home-building adventures on Instagram and their blog, and while they are admired for their ambition and craftsmanship, fans are also quick to point out flaws, whether it's a design choice, safety concern, or, in this case, a spelling error. But instead of diminishing interest, the selling moment boosted engagement. Comments and likes increased, followers asked more questions about the project, and Jeremy gained a few new fans simply from the buzz. Amy Roloff recently shared a rare family photo on her Instagram page, aiming to give fans of Little People, Big World a glimpse into a joyful family gathering. The post appeared warm and celebratory, showing Amy surrounded by several of her kids and grandkids in what looked like a springtime backyard setting. At first glance, everything seemed normal, even heartwarming. Amy stood at the center with a soft smile, the kids played nearby, and a few adults lingered in folding chairs behind her. But fans of the long-running TLC show are known for their attention to detail, and it didn't take long before comments flooded in, pointing out something odd about the image. A few keen-eyed viewers believed one family member in the photo didn't quite fit, and it wasn't because of a fashion choice or expression. It was because they might not have been there at all. Viewers immediately noticed something off about the lighting and proportions of one individual in the group. The shadows didn't align with everyone else's. Their skin tone and light exposure looked slightly off compared to others in the same frame. It looked, as many suggested, like they had been digitally inserted into the image. Theories began swirling in the comments. Was it a Photoshop mistake? A well-intended attempt to include someone who couldn't attend in person? Was Amy trying to present a picture-perfect family image, despite ongoing internal issues? Fans didn't hold back in their responses. Some were supportive, commenting that maybe the person had to be added in because they lived far away or had other obligations that day. Others speculated this was a deeper sign of unresolved family tension. With all the past drama between Amy, Matt, and their children, particularly around the farm sale and the growing emotional distance, it wouldn't have been shocking to think not everyone wanted to attend the same events anymore. A digitally altered photo, in that light, felt like a visual band-aid covering a much larger wound. The show has long documented the Roloff family's ups and downs, from Amy and Matt's divorce to disagreements about Roloff farms, to the adult children slowly distancing themselves from filming or public events. Fans have seen every chapter unfold. That's why many of them took this photo as more than just a family keepsake. They saw it as a signal. To them, it represented how fractured things might still be beneath the surface. Instead of a united group sharing a moment, it felt like a constructed illusion of unity. On Reddit and fan forums, the discussion blew up. Users began comparing the possibly edited figure to past photos of the same person. One fan posted side-by-side images, claiming that the exact pose had been seen in an older upload from months before. They even pointed out that the lighting in that older image matched the questionable figure in Amy's new photo. Whether true or not, this just added to the frenzy. Some users went so far as to create diagrams pointing out the inconsistent shadows and outlines. People were taking it seriously, treating the post as a mystery to solve rather than just another Instagram moment. Other followers took a softer approach. They pointed out that including a family member digitally, if that's what happened, might have been done from a place of love rather than deception. Maybe Amy simply missed them and wanted them represented in the photo. Maybe it was an inside joke. Maybe the person asked to be added in later. Families find creative ways to stay connected, especially when separated by distance, disagreement, or time. In that context, the photo felt more like a symbolic gesture than a lie. Still, others were disappointed. Why not just post the photo as it was taken? One commenter asked. There's no need to pretend everyone was there if they weren't. Another added, it's okay to be honest about who's close and who's not. You don't have to fake it. Many fans crave authenticity, especially after years of watching the Roloffs' personal lives play out on camera. They feel invested in the family and, in turn, feel entitled to a certain level of honesty, even on social media. Amy herself did not respond to the speculation. Her caption remained simple and focused on gratitude. Something like, cherishing the little moments with my favorite people. She didn't acknowledge the storm brewing in the comments or the dozens of DMs likely flooding her inbox. Instead, she moved on. Her next post was unrelated. A video of herself baking in her kitchen, smiling and talking about seasonal recipes. No drama, no explanation, just business as usual. But fans didn't forget the photo. Part of the reason the response was so intense is because the Roloff family has become more fractured in the public eye over the years. Zach and Tori have notably stepped back from the spotlight, hinting at unresolved issues. Jacob has been vocal about stepping away from filming. Molly stays out of the public eye altogether. Fans notice these things. So when Amy posts a rare group shot, it carries extra weight. People scrutinize every face, every expression, every absence. And when something feels off, it's not just a technical observation. It becomes a comment on family unity or the lack of it. Fans also noticed who wasn't in the picture. The absence of certain family members added more questions. Why were they there? Were they invited? Did they choose not to come? The edited figure, if it really was digitally added, only deepened the sense that something was being hidden or softened for public consumption. Viewers who've watched the show from the beginning feel like they know the family. They've seen the joys, fights, reconciliations, and heartbreaks. They can sense when something doesn't add up. It also didn't help that the show itself hasn't aired new episodes in a while, leaving a vacuum where speculation and online conversation thrive. With no recent scenes to help contextualize the relationships, fans rely on social media to piece things together. Every post, every like, every omission becomes part of the unofficial storyline. The photo, whether intentionally edited or not, became part of that ongoing narrative, a clue in the ongoing saga of the Roloff family. By the following week, the discussion started to calm. New celebrity scandals took over the feeds, and newer posts replaced the old. But the photo left its mark. For many fans, it confirmed what they'd suspected all along, that the Roloff family might not be as close as they used to be. That time, distance, and life had pulled them in different directions, and no amount of careful framing could fully hide that. But it also showed something else. Amy's continued effort to hold the pieces together however she can. Whether by organizing family events, sharing warm memories online, or possibly editing someone into a photo, she's still trying. She's still showing up, still posting, still reaching for unity even when it feels out of reach. That matters to a lot of fans. Even those who were critical admitted that the attempt came from a place of hope. In the end, the mystery behind the photo may never be solved. Maybe someone was edited in. Maybe it was just an awkward shot. Maybe it was an old photo reused. Maybe it doesn't really matter. What's clear is that fans still care deeply about the Roloffs, about their journey, about what the family represents. They care enough to notice a strange shadow, to compare old photos, to wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. For Amy Roloff, that may be both a blessing and a burden. Her family has been in the public eye for years. They've shared more than most, endured more than most, and now they continue to navigate life after reality TV. One photo, no matter how simple, carries all of that history with it. And so, even a happy family post can become a moment of controversy, curiosity, and connection. The day the news broke that part of Roloff Farms had officially been sold, it didn't take long for fans of the family to react. It also didn't take long for one member of the family to weigh in, not directly, not with names, but with a tone and precision that said more than any headline could. She posted a single image, her children standing in a backyard garden, soil on their hands, faces lit with joy. The caption was brief but potent. Legacy is something you live, not something you list. It was enough to start a storm. The comment section filled quickly, fans connecting the dots with ease. The sale of Roloff Farms had been a sore spot for the family for months, ever since Matt Roloff had put a large portion of it on the market. sparking a whirlwind of speculation and hurt. To the outside world, it looked like a business decision. To those within the family, and especially to his daughter-in-law, it felt like something deeper, like a fracture in what once held them all together. Her next post, a short clip of her husband building a wooden playhouse in their yard, only fueled the buzz. In the background, children's laughter rang out, and in the caption she wrote, "You don't need acres of land to build something meaningful. You just need commitment." Subtle but unmistakable, another quiet shot fired. Over the following days, her social media became a series of peaceful personal images, seeds being planted, tiny footprints across the dirt, handwritten signs labeling garden rows. Her words continued to be poetic, never confrontational, but anyone following the family saga could read the meaning beneath them. "We're not recreating the past," she posted with a picture of her daughter watering carrots. "We're planting something honest for the future." There had been talks before the sale, quiet discussions, hopeful negotiations, even plans drawn up. One of Matt's sons had shown interest in taking over part of the land to keep it in the family. But deals collapsed, emotions flared, and suddenly what had been a shared dream became a fractured memory. When Matt decided to move forward with the sale to outsiders, the disappointment cut deeper than he probably realized. At least, that's what her captions seemed to say. "It's not about the soil," she wrote days later, alongside an image of her husband teaching their son how to hammer nails into a chicken coop. "It's about the roots we choose to protect." That post got tens of thousands of likes, with comment after comment praising her for her grace and quiet strength. Yet underneath the praise was a steady current of understanding. Readers knew she was grieving something that had once been promised, something that had now been taken away. The daughter-in-law had long held a public image of gentle resolve. She wasn't prone to rants or confrontation. Instead, she wielded honesty with a delicate hand, saying only what she needed to say, leaving the rest to interpretation. Her restraint made her voice even louder. Every photo she posted became a statement. Every caption a quiet echo of what could have been. In one photo, her children held a sign they'd drawn together, "Our Little Farm." It was staked into a modest patch of land behind their home. Her caption read, "Sometimes the smallest spaces carried the biggest dreams." To her followers, it wasn't just an update on a family project. It was a reminder that their vision hadn't died with the sale of Roloff Farms. They were simply redirecting it, building it themselves, even without the blessing they'd hoped for. Matt, meanwhile, kept promoting the changes to the farm he still owned, speaking in interviews about future developments and legacy in his own words. He talked about simplifying life, about letting go, but the daughter-in-law's posts struck a different chord. "Letting go is easy when it wasn't your roots at stake," she wrote in one of her most shared posts. "For the rest of us, it takes time to breathe through it." The divide grew more obvious as family gatherings became less frequent, and the once unified Roloff front began to feel like fragments. Where holiday photos once showed everyone gathered around the farmhouse table, now there were separate updates, her family at home, baking pies and reading books by the fire. No big announcements, just a quiet reshaping of tradition. "We still gather," she wrote one Thanksgiving. "Not where we used to, but still together, still grateful." Her children were young, but she clearly wanted to teach them that legacy wasn't tied to a specific plot of land. It was a collection of choices, of values passed down with care. In one video, her daughter helped carry a watering can, drenching a small herb garden. The caption read, "Teaching them what real inheritance looks like." Again, no names, no accusations, but the message rang loud. She never made direct references to the failed deal between Matt and his son, but she didn't need to. Her tone told the story. When she posted about forgiveness, it came with caveats. It's possible to forgive without forgetting. Some lessons are rooted in the silence of what was never said. Followers flooded the comments, connecting her words to the broader family situation. She let them speculate. She didn't correct or confirm. As more time passed, she leaned deeper into their new rhythm. The farm they had hoped to continue was gone, but she doubled down on building something just as meaningful. She created educational content around gardening, started working with a local food bank, even launched a blog series about urban homesteading, a way of life that valued sustainability and simplicity, no matter how much space you had. "Our children won't remember contracts," she wrote in one entry. "They'll remember who showed up, who made them feel safe, who told them the truth." For many, it was the clearest nod yet to the wound left by the farm sale. She never accused anyone of failing, but she made it very clear who she believed had stayed present through the changes and who hadn't. Her followers grew more vocal, tagging her in posts, praising her for standing her ground. Some asked directly why she wouldn't just say Matt's name. Others praised her for not turning it into a public feud. Either way, her quiet approach was proving more powerful than any loud declaration could be. She was reshaping the narrative not with confrontation, but with intention. Every step forward she shared was another reminder that the farm might be gone, but their purpose was not. She spoke at a local event on family values and sustainability. She didn't mention the Roloffs by name, but she said, "Sometimes the places we thought we'd raise our families disappear before we get the chance. But that doesn't mean the vision dies. It just shifts." Her audience, many of whom knew her story, applauded. She smiled, humble but firm. When the one-year anniversary of the farm sale approached, people expected her to post something emotional. Instead, she shared a video of her children harvesting their first cucumbers. The joy in their faces said everything. Her caption was short: "We didn't inherit land. We planted love." It was reposted hundreds of times, with followers quoting her words like a mantra. Her posts became less frequent after that, but when she did share, the impact remained. A single photo of her husband helping their son build a fence carried a quiet strength. The caption read, "What we build with our hands matters more than what we lose in contracts." No bitterness, no regret, just a steady belief that the values they were instilling at home were stronger than any piece of property ever could be. Matt continued forward with his life, his projects, and his own vision of legacy. He made occasional mentions of family, but the energy was different now, less unified, more individualistic. The old Roloff brand of togetherness had faded. In its place, smaller stories were rising. Stories like hers. Stories of resilience, of rebuilding, of defining what family means on their own terms. She didn't need a farm to prove her place in the legacy. She was writing a new one day at a time, in small garden beds and handwritten notes, in bedtime stories and fence posts. Her children weren't running through the fields she once imagined, but they were growing in truth, in warmth, in the knowledge that their parents had shown up and chosen them, again and again, over comfort, over resentment, over silence. The soft breeze rolled across Roloff Farms, rustling the trees and brushing against the weathered boards of the farmhouse. The sky stretched wide and clean, painted with cotton clouds and warmed by the sun that filtered through the April light. It was the kind of day meant for barefoot adventures and laughter ringing through the air. And for the Roloff family, it was something even more rare, every grandchild in one place, together, without schedules pulling them apart or distractions buzzing for attention. A day like that needed to be remembered. Tori Roloff, camera always near, felt it in her bones. They didn't plan a big photo shoot or orchestrate it with Pinterest precision. It wasn't about matching outfits or forced smiles. It was about letting the kids be kids. The cousins ran wild through the fields, darting between garden rows, climbing onto hay bales, and kicking off their shoes the second their feet hit the grass. Tori watched from the porch for a moment before lifting the lens and capturing what was unfolding, a beautiful chaos of childhood bound by blood, memory, and the land they were growing up on. Jackson led the way as usual, his confident stride guiding the pack of little ones. He paused to glance over his shoulder, making sure everyone was keeping up. Lila toddled behind him, her curls bouncing, one hand grasping the edge of her dress while the other held onto Ember's fingers. Ember, always the helper, matched Lila's pace with an ease that only came from countless days spent together. Bodhi ran circles around them, laughing loudly, while Mateo, only just gaining his footing, teetered behind, always a few steps off balance but fearless. Josiah sat in the grass, his legs tucked under him, his eyes wide as he watched the whirlwind of older cousins. He babbled and clapped his hands, his excitement building with every shout and squeal that echoed across the farm. Every now and then, someone would drop by him, Jackson giving him a high five, Ember tickling his feet, or Lila offering him a flower she had picked. These weren't grand, cinematic moments. They were soft and fleeting, the kind of memories that blur into nostalgia with time, the kind that parents tuck into their hearts and revisit long after the toys are packed away. Tori clicked the shutter again and again, not worried about perfect lighting or symmetry. She captured muddy feet, sticky fingers, windblown hair, and crooked grins. One image showed all of them sitting on the old wooden fence, legs dangling at different lengths. Jackson looked serious, Lila looked confused. Bodhi was mid-sentence, Ember squinted at the sun, and Mateo had his tongue sticking out. Josiah sat at the bottom, his face barely visible, peeking between a gap in the boards. It was perfectly imperfect. Later that afternoon, the cousins shared snacks under the big tree at the center of the farm. Sliced apples, crackers, and juice boxes were spread out on a blanket that quickly turned chaotic. Napkins flew away in the wind. Someone spilled a juice box. Mateo tried to crawl off into the bushes, but the laughter kept rolling, and no one minded the mess. Audrey sat nearby with Tori, both moms smiling as they watched their kids create another chapter in a lifelong bond. Every laugh, every shared snack, every squabble over who got which cup was building the story they'd look back on years from now. Tori snapped a candid of Jackson and Ember, heads together as they studied a worm Jackson had found. She took another of Bodhi, trying to leap over a fallen branch, only to land on his bottom, wide-eyed and stunned, before bursting into giggles. One photo caught Lila hugging Mateo tightly, their cheeks pressed together, eyes closed, as if holding still would make the moment last longer. Josiah crawled into the frame of one shot unexpectedly, his tiny hands reaching up to Jackson, who bent to scoop him up instinctively. The grandparents made their way out later. Amy walked slowly across the lawn, smiling as she watched the chaos unfold. She knelt beside the blanket and welcomed Lila into her lap, while Ember handed her a flower crown she and Tori had been working on. Matt appeared from the opposite direction, holding a tractor toy he had pulled out from the barn, immediately drawing Bodhi and Jackson into an impromptu demonstration of how it worked. Cameras weren't needed in that moment, but Tori raced hers anyway. She knew the value of those interactions. She understood how quickly kids grew, how fast time slipped past, and how easy it was to miss the moments you didn't try to freeze. When she reviewed the photos that evening, sitting at the kitchen table while the house settled into nighttime calm, Tori scrolled through image after image, her heart tugging with each swipe. The one of all 6 grandkids walking together, backs turned, holding hands, heading toward the barn, made her pause. That was the one, the kind of photo that said everything without saying a word. She decided to post them, carefully choosing which ones to share. These weren't just for Instagram clout or follower engagement. They were a love letter to this fleeting stage of life, a way to document something raw and real and grounded in joy. Her caption was simple, heartfelt. All the Roloff cousins together today. Rare, wild, beautiful chaos. So much love in one frame. The response was overwhelming. Comments flooded in from fans who had followed the Roloff family for years, some since before Jackson was born, others who remembered when Jeremy and Zach were the ones climbing those same trees. People wrote about how much the kids had grown, how beautiful it was to see them together, how grateful they were for the glimpse into such genuine family life. Tori didn't respond to all of them, but she read them, quietly absorbing the shared emotion, the collective awe. The most meaningful reactions came from within the family. Amy texted her, saying how much she loved the photo of her and the kids under the tree. Audrey sent a voice message with Ember giggling in the background, thanking Tori for capturing such sweet moments. Zach simply looked over at her later that night and said, "You really got it. All of it." That was enough. These weren't just grandkids. They were a living, breathing continuation of a story that had begun long ago. They carried traits from every branch of the family: Matt's stubborn focus, Amy's quick wit, Jeremy's curiosity, Zach's quiet strength. But they were also forging their own paths, becoming their own people, and doing it all in a swirl of connection that grounded them to each other and the land they played on. Tori knew these days wouldn't last forever. Schedules would get tighter. Interests would diverge. Teen years would come, and with them, the pull of independence. But for now, on that one beautiful, unrushed day, the Roloff cousins were together. And that was enough to fill an entire gallery of memories. She saved each image to a hard drive, then backed them up twice. She printed a few for the fridge, selected one for a canvas, and promised herself to keep taking pictures, not just for followers, but for family. For the day when Jackson is off to college and Lila is